Hello, Flosstube. I'm back. Um, Today is Friday, July 7th, 2023. My name is Amy. You have stumbled across my Flosstube channel called Mimi's Stitchery. I am formerly A Little Farm Quilts here on YouTube and on Instagram. I'm now fully branded over to Mimi's Stitchery. Reason for the change, if you want to know and don't want to look at one of my past videos, make a comment below and I will be glad to tell you. I'm back. So I wasn't scheduled to be back from out of town until tomorrow. We actually came back Wednesday afternoon, and it's okay before everybody sighs. We were kind of disappointed too, but the weather that we were running into in Vermont was not ideal. And honestly, that's the best part about RVing, is if you run into that, you can pick up and move. So we were able to come home on Wednesday and have a good drive day. And we've enjoyed a couple of really good, really hot days here. And sorry, now my phone's going off. And now today it's overcast and raining. So we're struggling with the light, but I'm set up here next to the window. I'm hoping with that and the room lights that you'll see that you'll have good lighting for this, because this is my semi-annual WIP Parade. I generally try to do one around July 1st, so I'm a little late, and I like to do one at the new year. Right, so the one in the new year, what usually happens is I go through all my WIPs, I decide to, I call it culling, weed out my WIPs and only keep the ones that I'm truly in love with still. Because, you know, our taste changed as we stitch, and decide if I'm going to restart some with different color schemes, which I still have some in the bin that I'm going to restart from last year. I don't know when I'm going to restart them, but I will. But this July one serves kind of a different purpose, or at least has evolved into a different purpose. I have a ton of crafting plans for July. Stitching, knitting, sewing, all sorts of things. So, and I will talk about them as I go. But what generally happens is I go through all my WIPs. I see all the ones that I have not. As I'm going, I'll separate the ones that I don't think I've stitched on at all yet this year, and I tend to set them aside. And then they go into a crate next to my stitchy chair, and I start to work them in so that they all get some love during the year. And that's just how it rolls for me. I am doing WIP Go this year. I will say already, this is my last year ever doing WIP Go. I've tried it. I love the idea of it, and I think that Jessie Marie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff is genius when it comes to this. Just like I think Jen from Quirks and Stitches is genius when it comes to 24 hours of cross stitch. I can't always participate in that either. I love how people handle their WIPs. I like all different kinds. But what I find, I am most productive when I just stitch on what I want to stitch on and make sure everything gets some love. And I tend to get more done because I'm enjoying my craft. So this is my last year doing WIP Go. This year's WIP Go is all about categories. I will talk about what was called for July again. If you haven't seen it from my last video, I will talk about that as I go through those WIPs. You'll see the ones I've worked on since my last video, but you won't see those till last. And as we go through some of the older ones, I'll set some aside that I have not stitched on this year yet. At least I don't think I have. And that's good enough for me. I don't keep meticulous records or notes. I've tried over and over again, and it's just not me. I think because I'm a nurse, I'm an educator, everything else in my life has to be pretty structured, right? Because I'm teaching and I'm taking care of patients, and everything does have to be kind of structured and orderly, and yeah. I don't like my crafting to be so. So I've been working on focusing on things that really bring me joy, and deciding on maybe some modified finishes. I have one that I'm pretty sure when I get to it, I'm going to tell you I'm ending it. So, but we'll see when I get there. But if you don't have anything to drink or you don't have anything to stitch on, you should probably grab something. I have a substantial amount of WIPs. We're already 5 minutes in. And this is typically a longer video for me because I chat more about the WIPs and how I'm feeling about them. Yeah. And I'll try to tell you about the bags that I have them in as well. I have one here that I'm looking for my fabric information, which I may have lost. If I've lost fabric information, I can't really remember it. I will let you know. But let me open my book and see if I can refer to my list. Of course I can, except that they're not in order. I didn't do myself any favors by not. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, are you ready? I'm ready. Grab yourself something to drink. If I have a hot flash, you know, it is what it is. I've had a couple of comments about how I'm red. So some of it's sunburn now, and some of it's just because I'm at that stage in life. So we women should talk about that stuff more, really, because we should not feel alone, right? But anyway, let's get going on the WIPs. The first one I'm going to show you is my second chatelaine that I started. It's just top of the pile here, folks. It is Evening in the Park. This is chatelaine from Chatelaine Designs. I am stitching this on a piece of 32 count Zweigart. It was natural, I think. I over dyed it a blue. And I started this at Christmas last year. So as you can already see, this one's going to be slid over so I can give it some love this year. So far, I'm loving it and how it's worked out. I stitched on this for several days. I dyed it this nice denim blue, the fabric, and I'm hoping the lighting is good for you guys. And that's where I've gotten. This is in a bag. You're going to hear zippers too. So for those of you on headphones, I do apologize. But you're going to hear them because honestly, I have to keep this kind of. This is in a bag by Tiffany from Black Cat X Stitchery. How do I know? Because on every one of her bags, she has a black cat charm. So that's that. Oh, just dropped one. Hold on. Hold these. That's how many I have here. This one is Pandemic Sampler. This was released by Sarcy Girl during the pandemic. It was free at the time. I believe it is still free. Even in the pattern, she has directions on how to dye your fabric. I'm actually stitching this. It's an extra designed fabric. I don't remember the... Let me see if I can find it for you. 36 count old linen by XU Design. See, I do have some notes. And I'm going to show you where I'm at. I actually outlined the houses thinking that I would fill them in at one of the retreats I was at. That's not how that worked. But it has gotten some love this year, so this will not go over into that crate. This is in another bag by Tiffany from Black Cat X Stitchery. I'll show you in a second. It's a cute mushrooms. This is, let me see if I can find the picture. This is Mirabilia. Circle of, is it Circle of Friends? No, Tree of Hope, sorry. Circle of Friends is something else I'd like to start. This is Tree of Hope. I am stitching this on 32 count Paris by Grace Notes Fabrics. I started this at the Steel City Stitchers retreat that I went to this year. Not much of a start with all the called for. Discovered there was a mistake in the chart, ordered the correct thread while I was there. Thankfully, I discovered the mistake because Amy from Fiber Arts, Amy was sitting at the table, and I think she's the one that clued me in on that. But started with the tree. That has gotten love this year because it was started this year, so that will not go next to my chair. All right, so there's a little bit of a story behind this one. So this is called Enchanted Ornament Stocking. This is a Dimensions kit, and I had started on the kit fabric and then switched it over to a Grace Notes fabric. And I just saw the tag in here. I think it was Mojito Smoothie. It was a 36 count. I've since gone back to the kit Ada because I'm making other stockings and I want them all to kind of line up in the same way. So I'm going to show you the kit Ada and where I am. Ignore the threads. I do park. So let me see if I can get this looking nicer for you. Sorry, I don't iron, so if you're new here. I'm right in the middle of this ornament here. That's where I started, this ornament. This is going to go next to my chair because honestly, I believe I started it. Yep, I started it last November, and I don't believe it's gotten any work yet this year. I think the last time I stitched on it was around Christmas time. So that's going to go next to my chair. Like I said, I'm not going to go back through my videos to remember exactly what I worked on in the last 6 months. So we're making a best guess. This is in a bag. Oh, let me go back. So I honestly don't remember if this bag was one that Gail from Gail's Golden Needle made me, because it's got the handle, or if my cousin, there was a batch of bags I have because my cousin Karen and my mom were wintering in Florida one year and they made a bunch of bags. And I think this could be one of theirs or Gail's. I don't remember. This is a bag that I got in the Smalls Exchange at StitchCon, not this year, but last year, from a woman named Brandy that was sitting at our tables. It's lovely. It has a felted strawberry, and it came with a biscornu inside. This holds Cinnamon Stars, which was the piece that I was going to finish with my Stitchy group this year at StitchCon. And I was working on it to get it to a point where I could finish at StitchCon, and then I had to cancel my trip to StitchCon. To say I was disenchanted is putting it mildly. I was disappointed I couldn't go. It's still the right decision based on everything I have going on and had going on at the time. I still would make the same decision again. But I am stitching this on, let's see if I can remember or look at my notes, one or the other. Cinnamon Stars. Nope, I don't have it written there either. It looks to me like a Forbidden Fiber Co. Hold on. I think it's what was left over from another project, but I don't remember. And I was going to bring up one of my boards to show you these on. I'm stitching it with a combination of some substitute over dyes and some DMCs. I'm 2/2. Sorry, I'm not telling you that much either. And this is where I was at. This, obviously, I started this year, so that is not going to go into my WIP rotation at the moment. This usually gives me a really good idea of what I need to start squeezing in and whether I need to completely ditch WIP Go or, yeah. We'll see. This is another Black Cat X Stitchery bag. I got this bag when I wanted to start a Heaven and Earth design that's has to do with Alice in Wonderland, but that's not what it houses right now. Right now it houses Mother Duck. I used to be called Mother Duck, and I have 4 kids. So I bought this kit at the Steel City Stitchers Retreat last year. I do not believe I've worked on it this year. I might have, but not enough. Because this is all I have. The start of a little chick. It's on the kit Ada, which is speckled, and with the kit floss. So this will go next to my chair. You know, Ada's not my preferred necessarily. However, I will say this. When your eyes get older, Ada becomes your friend because you can see it better. So, yeah. This is in a bag made for me by Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. This houses a Quaker Christmas. Let's see if I can find that real quick on here to give you some statistics. No, I don't even have it on here anywhere. So my list is not great, as I told you. Oh, I got it. 40 count Tyco linen by Picture This Plus. I'm using 1/2, and the threads I am using are, because I get asked this every time, DMC 935. Hold on, and I'll show you the red, and I have a gold. Where's the red? There it is. Okay, so the red is Cherry Cobbler. The gold is Gold Leaf by, I should say this one's by Classic Colorworks, as if you can't see that label. I have Gold Leaf by the Gentle Arts. And then I have DMC 935 for, it's kind of an evergreen green, like that. Just because I'm very much more into, isn't that proper English? That kind of green. And I don't remember if I've worked on this year, but this is where I am. It's 1/2 on 40 count Tyco by Picture This Plus, as I said. Yeah. I don't remember. Hi, Molly. One of my dogs just came in. Stay. This is in a bag that was made for me by Kelly from my stitching group for my birthday this year. I absolutely love it. And she sent the extra bit of fabric. And this houses a start that I started this year with Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. I believe it was our New Year, New Start. It is on... Don't know if I have, it's Mushroom. It's Extra Designs, maybe. Mushroom. It's And a Forest Grew by Rosewood Manor. And I believe, look at the inside of this bag. Dragonflies. I love this bag. Anyway, it's Mushroom, but I'm pretty sure it's an Extra Design linen. And it was a New Year, New Start. No, it was my birthday start. Sorry, March 8th. And that's where I go. Let's see, 40 count Mushroom by Extra Design. So I've got the center tree motif done, a bird. And I do hope to get back to this, however, it's had work done this year, so it's not going to go in the immediate pile. So this, to be fair, so here we go. This is Disney Castle. I don't even remember where I got the pattern, nor does it, oops, sorry, I just moved the camera, nor does it say anywhere on here. I forgot all about this one. I am ditching this one. I started in the center on Ada. It's a mess. I'm not going to stitch this one. In matter of fact, there's a ton of threads in here. Sorry, I keep knocking the camera. That are going to need to be put back away, and I'm missing one for something else, and I wonder if it's in here, to be quite honest. But look at all these threads. This is in a bag made by me, and that's going to be a UFO. The fabric will go back in my stash. The threads will also go back on my stash. So that is a UFO. This one I'm going to set aside because that's part of July plans. Okay, we're going to look at some of my full coverage. Not all of them, but some. Let me get them ready for your viewing pleasure. Unless I tell you otherwise, these are all on 28 count, 2/110. So this one is, let me get the printout. This is Grand Library. I started this with Hannah from Hannah Dowling. This came out actually, the announcement that this was coming out, this is artwork by Amy Stewart. It is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. The announcement came out when we were at Steel City last year. Wasn't it, Hannah? And we decided we wanted to do this when it came out for a new year, new start. And then I couldn't wait. So we did it 6 months early. So this is hashtag 6 months early. I don't even know if anybody's using the hashtag. And I'm not great about posting. So, and I don't even know that Hannah's worked on hers recently. I started up in the upper left as I always do. And like I said, it's on 28 count, 2/110. I do park. But then I get to the point where I start working in all my threads. And this has not been out in a while, but it has been out this year. And that's where I am. So there's a dragon here and a sorceress there. And the next time this comes out, I will be working in the threads. But this is not going to go into my immediate work pile, right? Because that has had work this year. Although I will talk to you about my full coverage here in a second. When I get to the end and I start talking about my plans. Okay, this next one is World of Disney. The place where I got this is no longer open on Etsy, but there are plenty of others that have this chart at different sizes. I'm stitching this on 2/110, 28 count mushroom Lugana. And my debate with this one always is whether to keep it in my WIP rotation or not. The reality is I will never get this done in my lifetime. But I do very much enjoy stitching on it. So I don't really know what to do. So it's staying in my... This has gotten some love this year, and I do have a plan for my full coverage. Yeah, it will still stay because I don't think that it will get the lion's share of any work. But it is what it is. I can only have so many full coverage on the go and expect that they're going to get done. At least for me. I have plenty others that I would love to start. But yeah, not till I get something done. The next one is one I started with Tiffany very recently from Black Cat X Stitchery. This is called Blu-ray. This artwork is, hold please. The artwork is by Leah Roche. It is called Mini Blu-ray is what I got. Heaven and Earth Designs is charted. And I started this with Tiffany from Black Hat X Stitchery. I am stitching this on 25 count. I started at 1/1 full cross. I am converting it to 2/110. And that's where I am. And Tiffany's coming here for an overnight this weekend. So we may stitch on this. I don't know. I don't know what her plan is. And as you can tell from my stuff, I'm not sure that I always know what my plans are. But I could very well get some love this weekend. And that's all the full coverage I'm going to show you right now. That's my husband's. That's an empty project bag. So this project bag is one where I sent the fabric to Tiffany from Black Cat Extra. She made me a bag. Ignore the floss mess. This is the bag that's been housing my Year of the Woods. I have finished all the ones that I've started right now, but we are going to be starting the owl. I do this series with Gail from Gail's Golden Needle. We will be starting the owl shortly. We took a little bit of a break to get some other stuff done. Okay. This is a patriotic bag that was made for me by my cousin and my mother on that Florida winter. This is called Liberty's Welcome. It's by Plum Street Sampler. This has gotten a teeny bit of work this year, but I am going to put it back in the bin because it wasn't really enough. I am stitching this on. It is a Forbidden Fiber Co. 36 count. Edinburgh linen in the colorway Granite. With the called for DMC. And like I said, it did not get enough. It didn't get any. I extended this vine down just a tad right here. But that's where we're at. So that is going to go into my, next to my chair bin. Sorry, zips. This one, okay. I should just pull the Band-Aid off and get this one done and over with. This is called Token of Love. It is by Brenda Gervais from With Thy Needle and Thread. I'm stitching this on 30, I believe it's 32 count Coffee by Zweigart. And I've talked about a modified finish with this. I've also talked about just finishing it. So that will remain. It's also going to go in my next to the chair bin because it's relatively small and it should be done. This is another bag by Tiffany from Black Cat Stitchery. This houses my Dasher and Dancer. It is a pattern from my LNS, Hobby House Needleworks. Here we go. And instead of making this a monochrome, I actually pulled out the Stitch Me 36 count Cardinal, and I started picking my own threads. And this is where I'm at. I don't even know if you can see it. I enjoy it. I will enjoy it when it's done too. That has not gotten any love this year. Last time I worked on it was around Christmas time last year. And let me just verify that that is, yep, the Stitch Me 36 count Cardinal. I used to be in her Fabric of the Month club. I've since canceled all my Fabric of the Month clubs because I have too much fabric that I need to use. And with this Mountain Whips, I have fabric that will last me years right now. This is Autumn Lane Stitchery. This is called Autumn Town. This is going to get worked on this year. It is not. I'm doing this in kind of some Stash Dive threads on 36 count Valor by Picture This Plus. It's shameful, really. And now I have flosses from Cindy from Farmhouse Flossies that I want to use in this. So this is definitely going to get some work this year. It's not been worked on yet this year. I'm sorry I keep bumping the laptop here. Oh, 30 minutes in. Let's see if my dog is still in here. Yep, she is right here next to me. For those of you that are confused right now, I have two dogs. I have Ralph, who's very large, and I have Molly, who's very small. She's an old girl. This is in a bag that I made when I first started making bags. She's an old girl. She's almost 14. This is my Christmas list by Silver Creek Samplers. I am stitching this on, it's a Bestitch Me. It is blue with the Housewives conversion mostly, and then stash dive threads. I don't know. It's a Bestitch Me fabric. Oh, 36 count Neptune. I have it written down. And this is how far I am. Like I said, I'm using the Housewives conversion and some stash dive threads. This needs to go in to be worked on. The pile to be worked on is bigger than the pile to not be worked on at the moment. This next one, this is from a bag that I got from Lindy Stitches when she was selling the blue-footed booby kits. This is Long Dog Pandemic. This was the pattern that was released for free during the pandemic. You can purchase the pattern now. It is on 40 count Heritage, being stitched in a black silk. And I believe it's from Silks for You. I believe it's in charcoal. I have a ton of it. I bought a whole hank of it. It is charcoal. It's a joy to stitch with. I love stitching with silks. I have worked on this a little bit this year. And eventually it'll get a focus. So right now it's going to go aside. But I worked on it a little bit this year. It's on 40 count Heritage 1/2. Heritage is by Pictures Plus. It's one of my favorite fabrics to work on. I think it's because I'm a green girl. Okay. This is called Kindness and Fortitude. Let me show you. It is a modern folk embroidery. It is the bane of my existence at the moment. I love the pattern. I hand dyed the Ada, a denim blue color, and I stitched it. I'm stitching it in Blanc, DMC Blanc. I picked it up the other day to work on it, and I remember why I don't work on it. I hate how these white stitches look. I absolutely hate it. I am ditching this project. If I restart it, it will be on a higher count fabric, and it will be not with white thread. I could see me stitching this, like I have a piece of 46 count that I've purchased. I could see me stitching it on that with a different thread altogether, but right now this is going to get pitched. I do not want to spend time stitching on something that I do not enjoy. Let's see. Oh, here you go. This is, I don't even think I have a picture of it with me. I believe it's over there up on my wall. But you guys have seen this a lot. This is my other chatelaine. This is my Mushroom and Fern Mandala. This will be worked on this month, so you will see that later this month. It's stitched on 28 count Mushroom Lugana, because the Mushroom and Fern Mandala with all the... I didn't buy the kit. I kitted this up myself. Now, Evening in the Park, I bought the kit. I would always buy the kit, but I'm not doing any more chatelaines, so this is it. But I don't even know if I can... There you go. this is where I am now. I will pull it up closer so for those of you that are seeing this for the first time can see some of the intricacies and the sparkles and the silks and all of the great flosses. This will be worked on in July. Let me get this folded up properly. July is my month to get a lot of work done on the mushroom and fern because it's the month I have off from work. So whenever I get a large chunk of time off of work, that means I can have a large chunk of time to sit and concentrate and work on my mushroom and fern. So there's that. Let's see. What else do we have here? An empty project bag. This is another one where I sent the fabric to Tiffany from Black Cat Extra, and she made me the bag and a little bit of other stuff. This is, I believe this is Live on Little. Hold on. This is Live on Little. This was a gift from my friend Gail at Gail's Gold Needle. It's from Plum Street Samplers. Let's see if I can remember what I'm stitching this on. Did I write it down? 36 count Attic Lace by Lakeside with all the DMC. This got a little work actually just last week. I pulled it out and put this vine down and put the roof of the house in because I wanted to work on it. This is going to go back by my chair to get some more work on it this year. I've been working on getting either a finish or page finish, or on my full coverage, I might as well tell you now, full disclosure, I've been rotating through those to get 1,500 stitches on them, at least for the month of July. We'll see how that works after that. I have actually some empty bags in here, or bags that are housing things that need to be started. Let's see, what else do I have? That's an empty bag. Oh, so doesn't watch my video, so I don't have to worry about it. I was working on a cross stitch for my daughter's wedding. She's getting married August 19th. I had not shown this on my channel other than to say I was working on something for her wedding. It's not going to get done for her wedding because life has just simply been quite too busy. And I haven't been wanting to focus on it. It is being stitched on 40 count navy beam by Lakeside Linen with the called for. It is called The Adventure Begins. It is by Nikki Pattern, Modern Cross Stitch, on Etsy. I have several other of her designs. And I'm going to show this mainly because they don't watch my channel. And mainly because it's not for their wedding anymore. It's probably going to be for, I'm hoping, for the first anniversary. So, and this is where I am. And I'm parking because that's a lot of confetti, people. So that's what I'm working on for her wedding. This is in one of the bags that was made for me by my mom and my cousin on the Florida winter. And it used to house my, what was that one that I got rid of last year with the Mayflower? Decided that wasn't really my style. This is going by my chair, by the way, because that does need to get some more work on. I would like it for their first anniversary, not their 10th or their 15th. Next one I have is in this peacock bag by Tiffany from Black Cat Stitchery. Do you see a theme with my bags? Mainly because I see her. I see her pretty well, I would say regularly. So she lives in Pennsylvania. I live in New York. We go to the same retreats generally. So I see her at least a couple times a year, usually. This is Cooper by Kathy Barrick. I am stitching this on, see if I can remember, 36 count Oaken by Picture This Plus And I was inspired by Stephanie at Lindy Stitches to do a different colorway. And the yellow's not showing here, but in person it really does. I'm doing dark blue wings, doing a Farmhouse Flossies variegated for the belly with the exception of the yellow. And so if you're interested with my colorway, let me know. It's going to go on the back burner right now because I did start this year, and it's coming along nicely. So, okay, this one is going to be a modified finish soon. This is Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. I am going to finish everything from the strawberry up, and then I'm going to make this a drum. So modified finish. I am stitching this on 40 Count Beach Brew by R&R. And this is where I am. This needs to get finished. This needs to go in my bin to get stitched on this year, because honestly I don't think that I have stitched on it this year. But I'm hoping the next time I pick this up, it'll be a modified finish. That's what I'm hoping. Sorry if you're listening to my phone. Let me shut it off. I'll catch up with everybody. This is in my camper bag. This was a gift from Gail, from Gail's Golden Needle. If you can't tell, I have a pretty supportive stitchy community. Both through this Flosstube channel and because I've gone to retreats and met people, and because I attend Zooms and stitch with people. It's just been great. Not that I want gifts from everybody. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm definitely loved. And I love them a ton. This is Mill Hill Buttons and Beads. This is Tree of Life. This is done on perforated paper, which is why it's not completed yet, because I'm not a big fan of perforated paper. And I don't want to restart it, so I'm just kind of gutting through. This is going to stay next to my chair, and every time I feel like it, I'm going to pick up a thread or two and work it in. This will get done eventually. If not only so I can say I have it done and put it in the frame that I've already bought for it, because I assumed that I would like it. I don't like stitching on perforated paper. I'm not sure what the deal is. I think it's because a lot of the time I stitch in hand. I can't really hold this the way I would hold stitch in hand. I tried to put a frame on it and put it in my lap stand. That didn't really work either. I felt very cumbersome working around the frame. So now I'm just poking and stabbing and hoping for the best. And we'll see how that works. The other thing, that when I put fabric in the frame or Q-snap or in a dowel rods or whatever it is, I want it drum tight, and I don't. When I put it in the frame, I was afraid to lean on it, because sometimes when I'm two-handed stitching in the frame, I tend to lean on the piece a little bit, which I know everybody's going to squawk about that, because then you can get your piece dirty. But remember, I'm a process stitcher. I'll deal with the consequences of the way I stitch. But I do want this done. I would like it done and in the frame and put up somewhere, either in my house or in my office. So yeah, so that will stay next to my chair. What is in this bag? I made this bag when I first started making bags. It's pretty flimsy because I just used leftover batting. What is in this bag? Oh, this is Southern Land by Our Fortune Embroidery. This is being stitched on 36 count white Edinburgh linen with the called for floss. Called for DMC, I should say. I am about 50% done with this, I believe. And I keep saying that I want to get done this year. I don't know that that's going to happen. But, you know, it did get work this year. It may come out again if I can get through the ones that have not gotten work this year to my satisfaction. But right now it's coming away. All right. This is the last of this bin, and then you will see the ones I've worked on more recently. This is Queen of Freedom by Mirabilia. I am stitching this on the called for primitive hair fabric with all the called for floss. She has gotten some love this year, and my plan was to finish her sister, Royal Holiday, which in my mind they're sisters. Let me see if I can get this showing a little better for you. Get Royal Holiday done and then focus on this one, and that's still my plan. I'm just not sure if that's going to happen as fast as I want it to. But here she is. I still don't have this folded up. It's funny, I was on my stitching group the other night. I said, I stumble over my words all the time. It's not my words I stumble over, ladies. It's how to show my projects. But there she is. Love her. I love her even more since I decided not to do 1/1 skin on her. I would like to get back to her. But I'll show you progress on Queen of Freedom soon. Because now I'm going to transition to the projects that you've seen recently and what I'm currently working on. So I'm not going to show you this one because I just showed it to you last week. This is Kringles. This was one of the ones I pulled out for my July WIP Go for Christmas or winter. It has not seen any love on it yet since I pulled it, so I'm just going to set that aside. Yesterday I got kind of, I don't know, I was kind of disheveled, I think, on what I was going to work on. So I pulled out this. This is artwork by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is a stitching shelf, Max Color. It is one of my favorites to work on. This is stitched on 28 count, 2/1 tent. She's had about 1,000 stitches since yesterday. And like I said, I've been trying to rotate through and getting 1,500 on them before I rotate to the next one. So I have almost 500 stitches more to go. I think I'm at like 3.14%. I'm parking, as you can tell. I'm just kind of filling in. Whoops, I just moved my camera again. I had a bunch of park threads here, so I worked all them in. And now I'm kind of working down from the corner, doing all the ninja stitches, and then filling in some of these bits here. So this will go back on my frame and get more love today until I get to about 1,500 stitches, at which point it will then switch. You guys saw this recently. It has gotten love this year. I can't say that I won't work on it again, but not right at the moment. This is Halloween Quaker by Leela's Studio. It's stitched on 28 count Anubis with the called for floss. This is where I am currently. It's about 48%. Not sure if it'll come back this year or not. I would love to focus on some finishes. I also have some things I'd love to start. We will see what happens if that comes back out. This is a round robin that's not a round robin that I've been working on with some Flosstube friends of mine. Hannah Dowling is directing it. We spin a wheel. Everybody chooses a person and the color dress they want. This is called Flosstube Friends. It's by October House Fiber Arts. I'm stitching this on 40 count Beach Brew, and I am woefully behind. 3 people have been called. Actually 4, because the last one was mine. And I picked a green dress. But I have 2 other people to catch up on first. And this is where I am. So I have the first one that was called I kept up on. This was the second one that was called Tamara from PD Stitcher. And then this one is, this was Corinne from Grace Notes, and this is Colleen from Grace Notes Fabrics. And that's where that one's at. That will stay next to my chair, so when I feel like trying to catch up on it, I will. This isn't a stitcher I got from a kit that I got from Forbidden Fiber Co. I feel like I'm just throwing things everywhere. This is another full coverage. This did get 1,500. Well, no, it got 325 stitches. It will get more, but it was up Bonded by the Rain. Artwork by Lena Afimoff. Charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is 2/110 on 25 count Lugana. I worked on this while I was camping because I had lots of threads to stitch in, and I didn't have to carry my flosses with me, and it still has a lot of threads to stitch in. But I'm making progress. That's where we are. So that will stay next to the chair because that needs another 1,200 or so stitches. Here we go. Last two. We're less than an hour. This is, where'd the picture go? This one is Royal Holiday. Oh, there you go. By Mirabilia. I am stitching this on 28 count Abyss by Fabrics by Stephanie. I worked on this a ton while I was camping. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it because I was stuck in kind of confetti prison. I really wanted to work on the confetti around her neck and get those cowls done. I call them cowls, you know, they're the ones with the whisper thread. And here we go. So ignore the threads. I got tons of threads here. But I was working up in here with some ninja stitches, and then was working here and here, and then was working down in here and parking as well as I was going, and also in here. So that's where she is. I still want to work on her. She has gotten love this year. I'm going to continue to work on her. So that's that. This is a bag made from, I forgot to tell you, I made this bag. This is a bag that was made for me by my cousin and my mom because I'm a nurse. Okay. And the last WIP I have to show you, still going to be under an hour, is my oldest WIP. This will get worked on continuously throughout this year. This is Lost No More from Gold Dimensions. If you're new here, I started this in the 90s, put it away, raised some kids, and now it's back out. It is about 78% done. And I worked on this camping. I worked on this during a Zoom call the other night. And so this sheep right here is taking shape. You can see the head right there. That's where I've been working. That and up in his robe above. So this will continue to get work as well. So let's talk about plans now that I'm looking at my piles. I'm going to continue, I think, with what I have planned for July. Oh, forgot to put that in there. I just threw that all on the bed. My plans for July, what was called for WIPCO was full coverage, Winter Christmas, and Winter Christmas. So that's Royal Holiday, Lost No More, and Kringles, which I didn't show you because I have not pulled that out yet. Those are each getting 5 days. I have knitting that I have goals on that you guys know about already. I'm going to keep up with that. And then I have all my full coverage that I would love to get 1,500 stitches in on each of them. So that's what I'm doing. Other than that, I'm going to seaweed, stitch what I want to stitch, and see how that goes. And then I will be back. I don't know if I'll be back in a week because now I've just done 2 videos with everything. I might come back just before I go back to work in August, and we'll see how far I can get done. I think that would be great. But if you stuck around this long, God love you. There's some long WIP parades out there. I love watching them and sitting and stitching. I also like being outside when the weather's nice. So, but everybody take care. Sorry, I just had to move the camera again. Everybody take care. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sitting through all that. If you have any questions about any of my WIPs, please put it in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer. But until then, I guess I'll see you all soon.